When you're a freelancing videographer, your clients are your gold. They're everything. They're the difference between mental imprisonment and creative freedom, financial freedom. We need to treat these people like friends, because ideally you're working with people who you enjoy being around, who are doing things that you're interested in, and they genuinely do become your friends with time. And that is the dream. I mean, you are using your camera, you're creating things, you're documenting a process or a type of business that you're interested in, and with time you're becoming their friends, they're becoming your friends, you're growing and succeeding and scaling together. It is an amazing process, but it needs to be treated with respect. We need to make sure that we're nurturing the relationships that we are building with the people who are paying us to create things for them. Welcome to part 4 of the video business series. If you're new here, I do highly recommend going back to the start. You can find it in one of my playlists called Video Business Series. In the first episode, I touched on finding a mentor. First of all, how you can do that, and second of all, why it's so important to look for a mentor and just have them teach you how to do what they've done to fast track your success in this industry. In the second video, I touched on how to start to break away from working with that mentor and find your own clients and start working with them. And then in the last video, the third one, I went over how to start to figure out how to set your rates, how to charge people for doing videography. Hi, Editing Jay here. If you're enjoying this video, I really hope that you would consider subscribing to the channel, not for global domination via YouTube or anything like that. It's actually for something far more sinister. You gotta see this. When you, at this moment in time, search JayAshcroft, Missouri's Secretary of State comes up. And I mean, look at these titles. This imposter, JayAshcroft sued over Missouri's new anti-woke investment rules. This is crazy. Anyways, back to the video. This episode is about how to nurture client relationships. So you've found yourself some clients, you know what to charge them, you're making money with them. Now we have to think about how to maintain the quality of that friendship that you're building with these people who you're working with. I'm gonna go over a few different things today. First, I'm gonna talk about communication and why it's so key and vital to the success of this relationship that you're building with these clients. Then I'm going to get into clever stuff that you don't always think about business-wise, giving gifts and spending quality time and doing things that you would do with friends and family, because that is how you should be treating these people. They should be like family or friends. Third, I'm going to get into actual business value and how you can really foster their trust and respect in terms of the things you're doing and how valuable it is to their everyday business lives. Rule number 1 when it comes to fostering and nurturing the relationships that you're building with your clients is to just simply not treat them like a number. They are a vital part of the success of your business. And like I mentioned in the start of this video, they are the success of your business. If they're not happy and they're not feeling respected, they're starting to question maybe what your intentions are with working with them. If they feel as though they're just a means to an end, that you just want to make stuff for them and just squeak by and collect a paycheck and then not talk to them, they're going to start to slowly back away. I know this because this has happened to me in the past. I've done this with a few different clients. I feel as though I was maybe in a fearful state. I was very negative. I had a gigantic studio that I am glad that I had, because now I know that I don't want to have something like that. But in that point in time, I was just grabbing clients left, right, and center, and they weren't a good fit, and the relationship suffered because I didn't have the bandwidth to nurture the relationship with them. I didn't communicate. Had them sign something, did the work, here you go, on to the next one. You're going to spread yourself really thin if you do that. Be strategic and mindful of the types of people that you're getting into relationships with. Treat it like dating. Like if you go on a few dates with somebody and it's not working out, just walk away and say, sorry, it's not gonna work out. You can do that with clients. It's okay to leave that opportunity or that money on the table and move on to something that is a better fit, because you'll sleep better, you'll end up earning more in the long run, and you'll feel more creatively fulfilled. So it's just a win-win-win opportunity and situation for yourself if you approach it like that. Now, when you get into working relationships with clients who are a good fit, communicate. So something I've started to do with my subscription-based clients is I'll email them once a month and ask them when a good time for a Zoom call is. I've started to have monthly Zoom calls with either the owners or the managers of these companies to make sure that everything I'm doing is up to their expectations, and to just generally get their input about what is happening in their business and in my business and in our interactions. Now, beyond this, it doesn't have to be too cold or black and white like that. You can also just shoot them a text and say, hey, how's it going? Give them a call out of the blue and just talk about life in general. Just communicate. That's rule number one as far as how to properly nurture a relationship with clients that you're starting to work with. Rule number two in nurturing your relationships with clients is to go above and beyond with everyday gift giving. So say it's Christmas time and you have maybe 3 or 4 clients that you have a really good relationship with already. They're becoming friends more than just a black and white financial interaction. Give them a little present and don't expect anything in return. Don't expect them to give you a Christmas present or anything. Just get them something simple. For one of my clients this year, I got him a gift card for a dirt bike shop because he's getting into dirt biking. He really appreciated that. A couple years before that, I printed out a photo and framed it. It was a photo of the foundation of this structure that he was building that I knew meant a lot to him. So it doesn't have to be massive. It can also be a Foot Locker gift card I got for one client because I know he likes sneakers. And another client, they're really family oriented. They have a few kids, so I got them like a Toys R Us gift card. And again, I didn't expect them to give me anything back in return. I just gave them the gift, wrote a little card, just said, Merry Christmas, thanks so much for your business. I'm really excited for this year. And they really appreciate that. And it feels good to give in that way as well. I'm probably like a sucker for Christmas time and the holidays. Like I just like giving presents to people I care about. So this has kind of fallen into business doings. Beyond that, also just do social stuff together. I mean, the one client Steve built, he had Christmas parties and birthday parties, and I would go to those. You know, sometimes I bring my camera, sometimes I wouldn't. I just go and hang out and just, you know, talk about life with the people that I'm working with all the time. I had a business meeting with a client that I'm starting to work with more recently now. I was on my way to his house. He wanted to just have the meeting at his house because his wife was out and he had a newborn baby at home. So he had the meeting in his living room with his baby on his lap. And then he said, you want to stay for pizza? And I said, yeah, sure. So I sat down and I had some supper with him and his kids and his wife. That's important. It's more important than I think we sometimes realize, because the people that we're working with, they're just people. And people do these things. We are social creatures. So don't just leave it at black and white, you're not worth my time if I'm not being paid for it, right? It's a lifestyle, this whole thing that we're doing. We're documenters, we're creatives, artists, writers. We need to remember how important the people are that we're interacting with, who are signing the checks for us. It's not just about money. It's not just a financial transaction. It's relationships that you're building with people that ideally, if it's a good fit and you guys get along with each other, you'll be working with each other for years and years, hopefully, right? Now, the third thing to remember is to over-deliver in the professional side of things. You're building a relationship with somebody and you want to start to run some tests to see if a service that you want to provide for them is going to be beneficial for the business. Just offer to do it and don't charge them anything. Again, this comes back to getting clients, how to get them in the first place. Do the free to fee strategy. My one client, Steve built, the first gig I ever did for him was a paid gig. However, moving along in our relationship, I saw an opportunity to start to work more regularly with him and make it more consistent. This was actually the invention of my retainer model or my subscription model. I knew that because he was a builder and he was constantly building and creating new things, it was kind of a perfect situation because he would get a new job and he would want a true before, so before they've even been there, and then process stuff, and then after stuff. And early on, I really noticed that he, first of all, didn't really have a lot of time to consistently post this stuff on social media, but also he didn't really have the understanding of how to do it properly and get the most out of the videos and the photos I was creating for him. So I just called him and I said, hey man, listen, I think that we can push what we're doing a little bit further. I would like to run your social media accounts for you. Let's do it for 3 months, and I'm not going to charge you anything to do that. I'm just going to run them for you. You can give me your login and I'll post for you. And what I'm going to do is, as I'm posting and as I'm doing all this stuff for social media, I'm going to track the amount of time I'm putting into it per week. And if at the end of 3 months you're finding that you're enjoying me doing that because you have more time and you don't have to worry about it, somebody's just doing it for you, we can calculate based on how much time I'm putting into it, what it would cost per month for me to do that. He was super into me doing that for him, so we did it, and now he's been with me for 4 or 5 years because I initiated doing something for him that maybe if I had said, hey, I'm gonna charge you $1,000 extra to run your social media for you. You wanna do that? And he honestly, at that point in time in our relationship and his business growth, he probably would have said like, no, that's okay. I think that I'm fine. It's best to give first, and from a scientific standpoint, collect data that you need to collect in order to know how to value something, and then you can attach a number to it after they've seen the results. This is no different than pretty much every single software you sign up for, or every single subscription-based service. Maybe if you're using Storyblocks or MusicBed or any of these things that are online, there was always a 30-day free trial, money-back guarantee. So that was me just taking that same sort of metric and applying it to a service-based business, which, yes, it's risky because maybe it's not going to pan out, but at least you have that data now. At least if you've never done the thing before, you can apply it to somebody else that you're reaching out to and somebody else that you want to work with, and you can say, well, based on me running someone's social media before, this is how much time it takes, and then you can calculate, this is my rate, this is my half day and full day rate, this is what it would cost me to run your social media for you. So you can't lose by doing something like that, no matter what the deliverable is. Now, I'm still doing that kind of thing. I've recently started working with another builder called Mitchell Contracting. They wanted a Facebook ad that was created from the footage that we already had. So I had my subcontractor, John, edit it, so I didn't have to touch it. Yes, I paid him to do it, but I had him edit it while I just kept doing the other things I've been working on. And then I gave it to the client, and I said, hey, here's the ad. I hope it works well for you. Keep me in the loop about what happens with it. Don't worry about paying me for this one. It's on the house. Now, in doing that, that's not me needing data. I know what it would cost for me to make it based on the amount of time that goes into it. However, I'm feeling grateful for the work that I've been doing with that client. We have been working together on a monthly basis. They're another subscription client. I just want to say thanks. Simple as that. And that is something that is also important to do. Not even just give people things because you want to do a trial run and get data from it. It's also to just be a giving good person and to express gratitude for the cool work that you get to do with people, because it keeps it human. It humanizes your brand. You don't want to be 100% transactional. At the end of the day, this is a transactional thing that we are doing. We have contracts and general service agreements, and we have deliverables we have to do. We create things for people and they give us money. It is a transaction. To return to a human relationship-based mindset regarding the people who are giving you money, you are going to find that you just feel better about it. That's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. I hope that helps. It took me a long time to learn all these lessons. The reason I'm expressing them and talking about them at such length is because I've done all this stuff. I still am doing all this stuff, and I'm still learning to this day the effects of the things I say and the things I do to people. I've had a lot of instances where I didn't nurture the relationship like I touched on earlier in the video, and I paid the ultimate price for that. Inevitably, they ended up walking and they weren't interested in working with me anymore. Luckily, with some of the other clients who I had nurtured with before and then stopped nurturing for a while, the damage wasn't too irreversible. You know, we had open, candid conversations about how I wasn't being myself and I wasn't giving them the best service possible. You know, ultimately I recovered from behaving poorly towards even the people that I appreciated the most. And it's no different than feeling stressed about life and then you come home and you're horrible to your spouse or your friends or your family. Sometimes when you're working for yourself, there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of need and desire and ambition to succeed. And we need to be kind to ourselves, and that kindness needs to then extend out to the people that we're working with every day. If you can manage to make that consistent, and if you can manage to somehow really balance out being a good person and respecting the transaction and being disciplinarian and firm when you need to be, then you're going to have a really harmonious business model, and you'll continue to grow and find more and more success in what you do. Do not disrespect the relationships you're building with your clients. You owe everything to them. The roof over your house, the car you drive, the food you eat, the things that you spend your money on. All the money that you have comes from these people. If they don't feel appreciated, they'll go somewhere else. Thank you again for watching. Again, I hope this helps. And see ya.